You were saying you think maybe if Angie was like a general contractor that it would make it cheaper. I think it would make it more expensive because at that point they'll have somewhat they'll be taking a lot of choice out of the equation for the customers. You know, like they're the elephant in the room. It's hard to find anyone else. Well, at that point they'll charge way more, and they'll have to, because imagine if you were a national company that's already unpopular with contractors and now you were subbing out work to them. How many times would they just not show up and just cause tons of problems and delays? You know what I mean? Because that stuff already
Yeah.
happens with the leads. You know, they have to sell the leads to multiple people because half of them won't even call or show up,
Right.
you know. So
Yeah.
it's their business model isn't very good anymore because of
Yeah, and they know it.
how inefficient construction is. It's like it really does take somebody that lives in your neighborhood who's willing to drive around and get materials and wait in line and to do all this stuff. Like contractors absorb so much inefficiency. A big company would really struggle to do that. I think that's just my
Yeah.
intuition.
Yeah, I don't know what the fallout would be like in the industry. There's a lot of contractors that would just get sucked into that. They would have to, or it would suit their business model well. I'm thinking there's a lot of contractors, they just thrive on volume. So they'll say, okay, well, I'm going to buy my labor for cheaper, and I'm going to make plenty of money under this new business model. But there's always going to be, there's always backlash, there's always pushback, and then boutique stores and industries pop up, too. Like you've got big chain restaurants, but some people, they just want to try out the little pizza place down the street because it's just something different. They know they're
Mhm.
going to have to pay extra money, but they want that. They want that personalized experience. So anybody who's trying to become or trying to remain custom in a world like that is going to really have to up their game. Which, like you were saying earlier, it's all these things we should be doing anyway. Whether it's whether it's a coming recession or an entirely different business model on the horizon, you better be at the top of your game either way. Um, so you can survive whatever's coming next. So
Mhm.
because there's a lot of contractors that just don't, they still think of themselves as service as what tradesmen first, and that's great. You got to be good at your trade, but like it or not, you're a marketer first, you're a salesman second, because there's nothing to sell if your marketing efforts aren't getting you in front of people. You're a salesman second, and if you do all those well, then you become a tradesman, and you've won the right to really impress them with the quality of your service that you perform. So it's tough for anybody who is running a small business and they really have no interest in business. We live in a different world now. You do have to be a business person first. If you don't look good online, your digital presence isn't what you want it to be, your phone's just not going to ring, because again, people aren't calling necessarily. Some people still do, but they're not necessarily calling their neighbor and saying, who fixed your plumbing? I'm just going to get on Google.
Mhm. Yeah, it's true. Like most tradesmen, they started out working for someone else and they got really good at it. And then they started their own business, but there's no like business training that they go
Right.
through, and they don't know what to focus on. You know, wouldn't it be interesting if all the painting companies that started out with the idea that your goal is to get 200 customers that have you back every 4 years or whatever to repaint. And you know, you go through this process, you buy leads, you invest in marketing, you should be able to go back and see how much you pay per customer you get. Let's just say it's $500. And then you should be able to go to these customers, do their job, make them happy. And before you leave, say, you know, for my, it cost my company $500 to acquire a new customer. So we paid about $500 just to get here. So in 4 years, we're going to call you back and we're going to give you a $500 discount to do the same thing. because we'll be saving money not having to buy that job. And if you could say that in a way that they understand, not only does it appeal to them because they can save money on the next one, but you're being so honest with them that it makes sense to them too. It's not just like, oh, they're giving us a discount. Why are they giving us a discount? Did they overcharge us the first time? No, it's because it costs us money to get here in the first place, and it won't cost us money next time. So we'll give you those savings. That could be really powerful. And if you can do that 200 times and have 200 people have you back every whatever years, that would, that wouldn't that be nice?